All on you.
Is it on me? Are we live yet? I don't know. I can't tell.
I know. There's always a little bit of a lag, but I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're live. You're right. So here we are again. We're doing a simultaneous stream with Bobby the Board Game Hacker on the Board Game Club page as well as the Tin Robot Games page. And for those of you who haven't been following along, we are working on a game called Nutty Squirrels, which we hope to put out on Kickstarter hopefully at the end of this year. We'll see how it goes. But the process we're at right now is we've been going through and reskinning all the artwork. So I've used standard kind of stock imagery as placeholders on this game. And we found this amazing artist, Mitch DeSlep, out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, who's an illustrator. He's redoing all the imagery. And as we've been going along, we've been kind of polling and sending notes out to people to say, hey, what do you think of the direction we're going here? What are your thoughts?
All right.
And we've made some
Started
changes
with the white
already
one, right?
Yeah, on a white squirrel. We helped us pick the eye color on that. We were looking at red versus black. We ended up going with black. And then we've had this great discussion on the gray squirrel, the old squirrel. And Bobby, I don't know if you want to share your screen, but we had run a poll on this to get people's thoughts. And what they had to decide between was two approaches to the old squirrel. One, which was this kind of crotchety old squirrel who was kind of telling the kids bring his acorns back.
Right.
And the other one was more kind of, a Gentile type,
A Grampy.
wise old.
I labeled them Grumpy and Grampy. That was the.
Yeah, Grumpy and Grampy. That was actually great names.
Just off the cuff. But wait, if you don't mind, I'd like to do a quick little plug before we start. If you guys want to check out the Kickstarter, if you want to get notified when it launches, there's a link in the description here in Board Game Club, or if you're watching this in Board Game Binge, I'm sure there's a link there. Just click on it, hit the notify me button. Just do it. It helps us look cool. We like it. We like you. There.
The more we get those numbers up, the cooler we look, I guess.
Right. Just when you thought that James couldn't look any cooler, this is what you could do to help push him in that direction. So let's take a look at the poll now. All right, let me get a little Command Plus here. And okay, so this was the poll. And so I had the pictures here. And here's something funny. The new Facebook doesn't seem to let you add pictures to your polls. I had to switch back to old Facebook. So we'll see about that. But in the comment section,
a lot of changes on that, by the way. Maybe we could do a video in the future on all the differences.
I don't know. It's just,
I'm not a fan.
I'm constantly switching back and forth. But anyway, in the comments, I put the crotchety squirrel and the nice squirrel side by side, who I've labeled Grumpy and Grampy. You know, TBD what the actual names would be. But if we look back, and we can see, and
I'm going to share my screen as well.
Sure.
I think people can only see yours, although I am now allowing you to share on your screen as well. But let me pull up on my Photoshop here.
Sure.
There we go. Okay, so we've got on the left is Grumpy, and on the right, which Bobby's coined Grampy.
Grumpy versus Grampy, yeah.
I got to write that down. That's a great name. So one's got kind of the wise old one. The other one is obviously a little distraught. And I was shocked at the poll results. Let's talk about. You'll have to vocalize it because people on this end can't see it on my channel.
Yeah. So people were kind of what I was thinking. If you give the internet a grumpy, crotchety kind of character, they will gravitate towards it. And so that's what we're seeing with this poll. We got 52 for Grumpy, 18 for Grampy, and then we got the comments here. I don't know if you want to talk about the poll results or hit the comments and see what we think here.
Let's do so. Start off with the poll results. So I did a quick poll on my channel as well, and I think it was roughly 84% when you put all the numbers together preferred the Grumpy squirrel here on the left versus Grampy on the right.
Yep.
Which I thought to be a lot closer. I thought there'd be a lot more people saying, "No, I don't know this or that." It's almost unanimous. People really like this character over here.
Yeah, so
I think it's maybe just a personality coming through or something, eh?
Yeah, when we did the other poll, it was pretty evenly split, right, between the like a red-eyed kind of albino squirrel versus just like a mangy black-eyed squirrel. But this, it's clearly more one-sided, more lopsided, and I think it is what you're talking about. It just has a little more personality, you know.
Yeah. And what were some of the comments that they had in your poll there? What were they saying? I don't have that on my screen here.
So let's take a look. Depends on how it's played. So there were some questions about the gameplay, and this is at this point just an aesthetic choice, right? These characters don't have extra powers. My brother chimed in, and he actually liked the Grampy. He wants to see more positive elder role models, so he likes that. He doesn't like the Grampy kind of thing. Squirrel yells.
And quite frankly, that's what we were going for, was more the wise old squirrel. Kind of like, you're at the family party and you've got kind of the elder of the family just kind of in the corner, just watching, right? And reflecting on all the people and just loving, just kind of watching people. So that's kind of what we're going for in that. What else were they saying? So that's one of the words.
Well, new Facebook has given me all sorts of problems as I try to navigate it. So let's see. If it stops spazzing out, I'll let you know.
So I think some of the people were saying...
that's the old man yells at cloud. Okay, there was another reference to that earlier. I didn't realize what they were talking about. But yeah, it's that old Simpsons meme.
So this... I think it's more kind of the comedy of it. I think people like. They like that it's funny. It's kind of comical, right? This guy kind of putting his fist up in the air, and you've got kind of this personality that you're projecting onto a squirrel. Yeah. I think I know Mitch and I were originally, and again, this is another example of loving the feedback coming from from the group, and let's keep it going. We were kind of leaning to the one on the right, and the reason being, and just to kind of preface it, the one on the left, when it's on the player board, will have larger cheeks, because in this game, the player boards have cutouts where these little cubes go in that represent acorns, right? So that's how you hold the acorns in your cheeks. But we were leaning more to the one on the right. Now, and kind of seeing the comments, taking a step back and looking at it, I think, and he and I are going to talk again tonight, we think we're with everybody on this one. We think that, I know when I first saw the one on the left, I smiled and laughed, right? Then we had the one with the kind of the wiser look, and there was elements we liked of that as well. We talked a little bit on our last kind of live chat about the value of doing a comp, right? So instead of having your illustrator go and redo something, if you have any kind of MS Paint or Photoshop skills, cut and pasting things can sometimes help you articulate what you're trying to say. So I'm going to show actually what we ended up doing, if I can get my layers to show.
And while you're doing that, I'll comment more on what you're saying.
Yeah, please.
I think with you obviously completely involved with the game, and Mitch, he's invested in the game because of the art.
Yeah.
I think that you might come at it from a different angle from someone who doesn't know anything about the game, isn't invested in it yet. And I think maybe the more extreme personalities can help pull people in, whereas someone who's already into the game, all about the game, they might appreciate a little more nuance, a little more that sort of thing. So maybe that's a little bit of difference there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that certainly coming in cold, you're just going to react to visuals, right? Mm-hmm. But the reality is when people are walking by a game that's being played on a table during board game night, have that same reaction, right? You get pulled into games. I mean, we did a great interview with Andrew Bosley, who did the artwork on Everdell last night on the Board Game Binge. And, that game, the artwork on that game is stunning, and it pulls you in. It makes you want to play it. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think here, what this is helping us see is sometimes you can be too close to it as well. And having these opinions of people that aren't close to it just helps it frame it in our mind. So what I've did is I've done another comp. There's two things that Mitch and I really liked about this squirrel over here. One was the big bushy eyebrows. Mm-hmm. And the other one was kind of this more of a bushier beard, because he seems older in his face than this squirrel over on the left. Uh-huh. So I did another comp.
I even like the white tail.
Yeah, the white tail's cool too. I like this idea of that it's kind of sagging with old age. So maybe we could add some white elements to it too. So maybe his tail's graying a bit. But this almost seemed like someone who's like 60 with a cane. This guy seems like somebody more in his 80s maybe. So what Mitch is going to do is I've done a comp for him to say, okay, what if we take this squirrel on the left, bring the bushy eyebrows in to make him a little bit older.
Age him up.
Beard, yeah, age him up a bit. So that's kind of what we're going to do with the squirrel. So that's the comp. And I think this is kind of the zone we're in. So now Mitch will then go through the process of now redrawing him, vectorizing him, really cleaning it up so it's a nice, sharp, clean image for the artwork. But this is very, very helpful in helping streamline the process. So it's been super cool. So I really appreciate everybody's feedback, and hopefully those who were more grampy than grumpy can accept the grumpy one with the bushier eyebrows, and likewise I hope the comments keep coming. We got a lot to still share. There's a black squirrel, there's a red squirrel, there's an orange squirrel, and then we also have these,
there's all the powers, right?
There's all the powers too that we're starting to do some dialogue on right now, and what's cool is, as a developer, you've got an idea in your mind as to what you would see, right? And in this case, it's one of those cases where, and you and I talked on the first chat on the different ways to approach it. Do you just kind of be very specific, that's what I want, or do you kind of throw them the keys and say, here's a sandbox, go play, right?
Right.
And in this case, the things he's come back with are way better than I visualized. But had I been too constraining, I don't think he would have approached it in the way he did. So some of these power cards you're going to see, I'm really digging his approach. It's really cool. And you can see the story and the theme of this now starting to come together, and these characters, right? And the story around this game. So this is going to play out in our subsequent calls and subsequent chats, and hopefully people keep weighing in.
Yeah, it's exciting. I really like to throw this stuff out to the community, and then just get feedback. And you're throwing it out to yours, and we're finding similar results. So it's really good. It's really good to check our own kind of biases, and then see what actually people are liking. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
awesome. All right, well, that's all I got for now. Again, if anybody's following along, please, we'll put the link both on my page, Bobby's page as well, and really appreciate it if you could go to the Kickstarter preview page. You have to follow a link to get there. You can't search it, and click the notify me button, and that'll notify you when this campaign goes live.
Yeah, and
please keep giving us your comments.
I'm gonna take it the rude American version. I'm not say please. I'm gonna say go do it right now. Just click the link, notify, no problem. Bada bing, bada boom,
in there.
Done. All right.
Awesome.
So, we'll be chatting probably early next week. We'll do another video on the next thing. Sound good?
Sounds good. Talk then. Cheers.
All right. See you guys.